Good evening, everyone. I'm Nitika Sharma. Welcome you all to another exciting and knowledgeable event of the Virtual E-Week, which is a workshop on digital marketing with Mr. Amitabh Verma on the topic Introduction to SEO and Google Ads. Amity sets the benchmark of global education with a system that matches databases, theories, resources, and standards all over the world. Amity is a leading education group which started as a dream of our honorable founder president, Sir Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan. Extending the vision of our expected founder president, our honorable chancellor, Sir Dr. Atul Chauhan, Sir's dynamic leadership has brought Amity on a global platform. We extend our sincere gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Ma'am, Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, for her motivation and support, and our respected Director, Sir, Professor Dr. J.K. Sharma, for his continuous efforts and guidance. I would like to welcome our faculty coordinators of ESEL Impresario, Dr. Nidhi Gupta and Dr. Jayshree Sapra, who have been our pillar of strength and the guiding force of all our events. Dr. Nidhi Gupta is working as an assistant professor in Amity School of Business, Amity University, Noida, and has 15 years of experience in the field of academics. She's also an institutional innovation mentor. Currently, she's in the area chair for entrepreneurship and family business, and also members of Institutional Internal Quality Assurance Cell, IQAC, in ASP. Amity School of Business is proud of its deep heritage, its growth, its rich resources, and vestige of students' success stories to its credit. We are well versed about the realities of our world and recognize the symbiotic relationship between the education, industry, and quality of life. We understand the demand of business fairs, which needs result-oriented, decisive, flexible, efficient, innovative, and ethical managers. We focus on experiential learning in any and beyond the classroom to facilitate learners in acquiring cultured management skills that will serve them as the future industry leaders. This workshop is a part of the Virtual E-Week, which is a mega event spread over the 6 days, including E-Summit, Business Conclave, Alumni Talks, and much more, with the motive of learning with interaction. E-Week is one of the most awaited events and sets new records each time, even when we are born with the ongoing pandemic. Virtual E-Week consists of 1,000 plus registrations, including students and faculty members from 110 universities and institutions all over the country, with 6 external speakers and 25 alumni. So with the great response for the digital marketing workshop as well, now I would like to welcome Bhavya Kumar to introduce our resource person for the day.
Thank you, Nitika. Good evening, everyone. So to continue the spirit of the virtual e-week, I would like to welcome our esteemed speaker, Mr. Amitabh Verma sir, founder and CEO at AMP Digital. Mr. Verma is an entrepreneur, ex-Googler, and one of the top 100 digital marketers in India, helping the professionals and businesses win in digital world through upskilling, strategizing, and executing on digital marketing. He has developed training programs at ampdigital.co and a news application at newsapp.io for the digital marketing community. Further, he has worked with millions of advertisers while at Google and a handful of brands and startups at AMP Digital. He has also been the regional manager at Career Launcher, national head at ICICI Bank, manager online sales and operations for Google Checkout Head, strategic businesses, head at Global SMB Services, India at Google, and is currently the founder and director at AMP Digital Solutions Private Limited. We welcome you, sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation. I would now like to request you to please address our audience.
Thank you. Can you all hear me? Like, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thank you everyone for inviting me. It's a really great pleasure to be talking to everyone. Like, including the young minds, like, and also especially because e-cell, like, the entrepreneurs. So being an entrepreneur, I think I really love to engage and talk to people who want to become an entrepreneur and see if there's any way I can help them with. Great. So why don't we do this? Like, I thought that we'll make it as interactive as possible. And so what we can do is that we can just think about a few things that we want to learn from this. Okay. Like, and I'll try to structure it in a way that your questions are answered. That's so that you get a value from, say, 1.5 hours you're going to spend here. So why don't we just take a minute, think about what is it that you want to learn. And we said that we're going to talk about SEO, search engine optimization, Google Ads, but it can be anything other than that also. Like anything that's really like on your mind, any current topics, anything that is bothering you, or you want to know more of. If you want to start a business, how do you want to go about it? Whatever comes to your mind, just maybe take a minute and write down. Okay, maybe you can put it on the chat window so we can go through, and then we can get started from there.
Participants, you can write down the topics that are in your mind in the chat box itself.
Yeah, you can keep writing down on the chat window so you can just see it and go through it.
And I know a lot of participants want to learn something new, obviously. So it would be great if you start writing your suggestions. Okay. Zishan has written a search engine optimization.
Okay.
Okay, so we have responses in the chat box now.
Is Google Analytics okay? So Ishita has a question on, is Google Analytics a part of SEO, search engine optimization? How Google ranking, effective online marketing strategies, social media optimization? How do small businesses start their marketing campaign? They don't have money to begin with. Content marketing, okay. Various digital marketing channels apart from Facebook and social media. E-commerce utilization for marketing. Freelancing. Cryptocurrency, okay. I would like to know how the digital marketing or online ads influence these startups, and especially startups related to fintech. Okay, very good. That's a question from Sushant. Keyword analysis, Meher. Aman says advertising on Facebook and Instagram. Okay. Yeah. Keep writing. Jasmine, increasing reach on social media. Okay. Cool. I think this is how to calculate ROI for digital marketing, business market on YouTube. Okay, how do you market businesses on YouTube? Okay, great. So this is a good set of questions, and it's always good to know as to what we are thinking. So since this is influencer marketing, is it worth it? Business market. Okay, great. So why don't we just put it in different segments? So what we are going to do is that we are going to use a case and think about how should startups get started. How should, so let's say if you have to start a business tomorrow, what should be your steps? What is step number 1, and from there, like, what do you do as step number 2, and then the step number 3. So what we can do is that we can map the journey of a startup. Okay. And in that journey, we can see what is the role that a digital marketing or digital marketer can play, and then in that journey, we can actually I mean, we'll try to cover most of the questions which are listed here. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, okay. So is there anyone who want to volunteer with a business that they are thinking of, like, or anyone has any business, like we are entrepreneur cell, like any business that you want to take example of, or anyone has started or starting, we can use that as an example and then, get the journey. Yeah, Jishan, I think Jishan had want to say something.
Yes, sir. Looking to start a online retail company for fabrics, fabric and clothing.
Fabric and clothing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. And will that be targeted at who will buy? Who will buy this? Like,
We are looking at luxury segment, not clothing exactly, sir. Homeware, interior designing stuff, but luxury realms, sir, like bed covers, curtains, stuff like that, sir.
okay. I know when you say, so is it like you're going to sell shirts and trousers, or you're going to sell clothes for that?
Sorry, sir, I said the wrong thing. We are looking to sell homeware stuff, so home decor like curtains.
Home
And
decor.
stuff like that. Yes, sir. Slipped my sir.
Okay, I
Tongue
got
got
it.
slipped. Yes, sir. So luxury home decor for
Okay.
luxury. Yes, sir.
Luxury home decor.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great. So shall we take that as an example, or any other anyone else wants to volunteer? Luxury home decor is a great segment.
Amitabh sir. So I've been looking to launch my product in Amazon itself. FBA. It's a consumer product. So how do we um, having a small business? How do we run a campaign for a product for a business who only is going to launch only a single product? In a
Sorry, what is the product? I didn't get it. FDA.
FBA fulfilled by Amazon. It's a consumer product. Comes under shower appliances.
Oh, comes under which appliance?
Shower appliance in the washroom sector. Shower appliance.
Oh, shower appliance. Okay, okay. So who uses this? Like, it's there in our bathrooms?
So actually, there's a need. When we go into the shower, we are not able to keep our phones properly, and often there's spillage of water on the same. So we're creating a product
Okay.
which we can stick on the tiles of the shower so that we can not only scroll through our phone, play videos and text and all.
I got it. It's like a phone holder, something like
Yes,
that.
yes.
Okay, okay. So that is also under e-commerce. Okay, so that's a great product, phone holder kind of a thing. Okay, anyone else who wants to volunteer, and then we'll get started.
Yes, sir. So, sir, I have a question, like a query in my mind. Like, as we went to a global pandemic, or I must say, we are still in the middle of a global pandemic, and many small businesses were affected by that. So, how can digital marketing help those small businesses to rise up, especially in a country like India?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll cover that. Okay. So like, what is the impact of COVID? Okay, and how should a small SMB business react to it? Right. So great. That's a great question. Okay. So let's start with whether it's luxury home decor, and maybe you can keep the bathroom fittings as a part of the same thing, right? So let's say that that is the store that we want to create, okay, or that is the product that is the business that we want to get into, okay. Now, first thing that we have to think about is something called web presence, like in so how do we want to go about showing our products and services, okay. That is the first question everyone thinks about. Like, will it be on my website? Will it be on somebody else's website? Uh, that is question number one. Even before that, who is the consumer? That is something that we have to think. Like, who do we exactly think is going to buy this? Okay. So, Jishan, what do you think? Like, who is the consumer going to be? Is it? I'll give you two examples. Like, is it going to be other business owners who are going to buy this luxury decor and fittings to put it up on their shops and stores under malls? Or is it going to be the builders who are going to buy a lot of it and who are building apartment complexes and buy in bulk and put it out? Or is it going to be people who are going to be the end consumers like me and you, who are going to buy, let's say I need some chandelier and I buy and put it up, or tomorrow I may need a fan, or I may need a, I don't know, upholstery. Do you think it's going to be like retail kind of a people or like business to business?
So we are looking at two sectors, which is one's direct to consumer, and the second one we're also exploring is the interior designer part, which you discussed, something like that, where people are like regular clients and they buy larger quantity. But this main for starting, so I think it will be the direct consumer itself.
Direct to consumer, yeah. So see, yeah. So when you are starting up, I mean, we need to really have absolute clarity over who is going to be our, who are we going to talk to, okay? We generally, you cannot talk to individual as well as business at the same time, you know, though we feel that it can be done. But typically, if you look at globally, like there is a B2C, like wherein you're talking to a retail customer, wherein people come to you and buy one unit each, or you go to a wholesale market and wherein people are buying wholesale. They two are very different things, you know. And you can also look at it in a physical term also, like let's say, you know, if you are in Delhi NCR, you know, and if you want to buy, you know, bulbs or whatever for your house, you can go to your market, you know, which is 5 kilometers vicinity of your house and go and buy. But if you want to buy in bulk, you know, like people will tell you, you know, go to Chandni Chowk or go to this bazaar, right? So there are some specific places to buy and sell wholesale. You know, okay. Similar thing happens online also. Okay. That if you want to buy in bulk, people will say, okay, or you will go to a specific player. Okay. So we should, one thing is that we should never mix the two. Okay. You should always go with saying that, okay, am I going to go B2B or am I going to go B2C? Okay. So that clarity has to happen at a first stage. Okay. But let's say that we want to go B2C, and that's what you were saying. So let's say we want to sell to the ultimate customer. Okay. Now then, how do we go about doing it? Okay. So the first thing that we have to do is obviously we have to get a web presence, which is like a website. Okay. So there also you have the options. Do you want to have a website? You want to sell through a website? You want to sell through an app? Okay. So what are your thoughts? Like, do you want to sell through an app or sell through a website?
So website, I think for starters, and then after that, probably an app.
Okay. Initially website and after that an app. Okay. Anyone else who has a different thought that no, we should go with an app and people buy from an app rather than a website?
So initially, even I would say it should start from a website rather than an app.
From a website? Why do you think website?
So as it provides more engagement, and we could do more analytics on the same.
Analytics, yeah.
There aren't many options for doing analysis on the apps.
See, that is not actually true. I mean, you can run very complicated. In fact, if you talk about data, like you can get a lot more data from an app, you know, than a website, for the very simple reason that the app resides in our phones and phones reside in our pockets. Okay. So wherever we are moving, and the phone tracks a lot of things. Okay. So wherever we are moving, the phone is moving, and along with the phone, our app is also going with you. Okay. And not many times, you know, the website, what happens is that to see a website, you know, I have to go on to I have to open a browser, I have to type the name of the website. Then you start engaging with a website. Then the website starts capturing data. But as far as the app is concerned, for all you know, even though like you're talking to me, your app may be capturing data about you. Okay. You walk to the canteen, you know, like your app will track you. Okay. Or whatever, or you travel somewhere, even though you're not engaging on the app. Okay. There's a huge difference. Okay. While if Amazon has to track you, you have to, or Amazon website has to track you, Google, you have to go to google.com and then start interacting. So that engagement and tracking is limited to the session that you have with the website. App, Like it's always, you're always tracked. Okay. Yeah. So tracking is actually the other way around. But I'll tell you, like, but both of you answered it correctly. We should always try to start with a website first. Okay. There are a few reasons. One is that website is easier to create. Okay. It's much less expensive. Okay. There are a lot of nice platforms to get your app, get your website done. Do we know any good website platforms wherein we can get started in a day? Like, you want to start an e-commerce store, tomorrow it's going to be up, or maybe in a couple of hours.
GoDaddy.
Not GoDaddy. See, GoDaddy has a website builder. Okay, so they will, but they also require a developer. You need a coder to actually go and do it. Okay. Uh, have
So
you heard of?
so
Sorry.
there's Wix.
Wix. Yeah,
Yes.
Wix is also Wix is also a website builder. Okay, so they are like, if you want to get a website done, but there is a difference between what you want to. You are not going to build any website. You
So
are going to build an online store with a huge difference. Like a website can also be like a blog. You can go to blogger.com, etc. Create that can be done, and that there are multiple options. Like there's a Medium, there's a Blogger. But if you want to create a online store, then you need certain specific things. Like, and I'll tell you like what are the specific things. But one of those very very popular like frameworks and things like GoDaddy is Shopify. Yeah, somebody said that. Barun Datta has said that. Shopify. Okay. So if you want to start your e-commerce store, the best way is that go to shopify.com, and from there you can take a plan from them. Okay. And they will help you create and get your website up and running for e-commerce. Okay. In fact, as on date today, like all the transactions, Shopify has like hundreds and thousands, lakhs and lakhs of people using Shopify to sell their products and service. Okay. And in today's world, if you look at the entire goods sold from Shopify, it's bigger than even Amazon. Okay. So they have gotten to that large scale. But Shopify selling through Shopify, I mean, the front end, everything will be yours. The back end they are going to run. So they'll give you a way to upload your inventory. Like what are the SKUs, what are the units you are selling, price it, put the image there, social media integration. They will also have a way to manage ratings and reviews. And then on the back end, like online delivery, they'll give you an option to get it integrated with checkout so people can pay money to you. You can do reconciliation, returns. So there are a whole lot of things that go on when you are actually starting a online e-commerce. Okay. And Shopify will have that already done for you. Okay. So Shopify is an international platform that lots and lots of lakhs of merchants use. There are equivalent Indian ones also. Okay. Anyone knows what are the Indian equivalents of Shopify? Yeah. So there are a lot of things and I would suggest you should go online and check it. So there are a few ones like there's something called ShipRocket. Okay, ShipRocket is one. There are a few others also. So you can just go and try. So there are these equivalents. So you pick the platform. Then the first step is to get everything created. Okay, so you have a place on the web which has the unique address. Okay, luxuryhomedecor.com or free home decor, or whatever it is, whatever name you pick, it will have a URL that will be your website. It will have all the products that you want to sell. So that is, I would say, step 0. Okay, that's pre-marketing. Okay, so that is being set up and that's been done. Now it comes to market. Okay, so now the next challenge is that I have got my store online. Now, how do I get users to come and visit? Okay. So again, you have to think like a normal retailer, like if you start a store in a mall. Okay, how do you go about pulling people to your store? Okay, So the first and easiest thing is that, let's say you are on a street or you're in a mall. First thing is that for people who are coming in into your direction, you need to attract them and pull them inside. Okay, like that is the easiest way to do. Okay, similarly online, those are like called the organic means, natural means. So there are naturally people who are looking for, say, luxury home decor, etc. So first, or who are either looking for, searching for, or asking questions about. So first step is to actually target those people and get your store in front of those people who are already searching for the products that you sell. Okay, so how does this happen? Like how do you ensure that like you get in front of people who are already looking for this kind of a product? Any ideas? Like anyone knows?
Sir, sorry to interrupt. There's a question from Aman Arya. How does delivery work from start to end on Shopify or any e-commerce site such as Shopify, like the ship one you said?
Yeah. See, like delivery work, as in like what is delivery work like? Like
So like Amazon does it themselves and shipping, yes,
shipping.
asking shipping and all.
Yeah, I mean shipping like it's a courier service. Like so what happens is in an Amazon or Amazon Shopee. I mean, you get an order, you will have the backend integrated. You will have shipping partners like that can be Blue Dart or whatever. They will get notified that look, you have to come and pick up this parcel. They will come to you, to the seller's place. And some of these places like Amazon also has third party sellers. Okay, so Blue Dart will get a list of products that they need to pick up. Plus, there is also an Amazon warehouse. So they have all warehouses. So once the sale is done on the website, the Blue Darts of the world aligned to it, they get a notification that they need to go and pick up this product. They go to the warehouse, they pick up the product. On that, the address, etc., is already mentioned, and then it happens the normal way. So, and then once they make the delivery, they will have to update it on their site, and the customer gets a notification. Amazon gets a notification that it's been done. It's actually pretty seamless and straightforward. Okay, but all you have to do is that you have to identify the right shipping partner whose systems can be integrated with your system. Okay, so that is the benefit of a Shopify kind of a thing, because the Blue Darts and this Express, etc., so they already have shipping partners with them. So you just have to, and they will tell you the rates. You just have to align with it, and then your products are integrated from the backend, right? So that, otherwise, if you are starting anything on your own, it's a huge challenge that you have to go and talk to Blue Dart. They'll ask you what is the volume. They'll charge you a lot more. Plus, negotiating, etc., is you won't be able to do it especially if you are new. Okay, so new, always go with a platform. Okay, you can try out, like I said, that there's Shopify, there's ShipRocket. There are a few others also. So you can always try out and then actually pick one. And you have to make sure that and also this also becomes challenging if you are shipping internationally. If you want to sell to other countries, then again Shopify kind of platform becomes better, because then as an e-commerce player, you also have to accept international credit cards. Okay, and not everyone accepts payments from a US customer who decides to pay in dollars. Okay, so all these things you have to be clear when you are actually creating it. If you want to accept those dollar payments, if you want to ship abroad, then you have to tie up with the right payment gateway, with the right courier partners. Okay, yeah. So that is how you get started. So the next step is that once everything is done, the next step is that you have to look at how do I integrate it, like in a way, with the Google scheme of things, so that whenever somebody is searching for luxury home decor or chandelier for home or reading lights for drawing room or upholstery for my sofa, So there are a lot of these things which are called keywords. Okay, so you'll have to figure out what those products you are selling, and related to products, what is it that people are searching, which is called the keyword. Okay, uh, so you have to think about what is the list of keywords that I'm going to target. Okay, and then you have to, then the entire the SEO system starts. Okay, and you have to make sure that whenever people are searching, your website shows up in Google, and so people find you and then click on those links and come to the website. Okay, now this whole system of getting your website indexed in Google and ensuring that your website is optimized so that Google prefers your website against millions of other websites which are selling luxury home decor. Okay, so that you move up in the rankings, is the art of SEO, or search engine optimization. Okay, so anyone knows, anyone understands that? So let's say now you have a Shopify website or whatever website. How do you get yourself integrated with, how do you make sure that Google starts ranking your website? Anyone knows? Anyone wants to?
Maybe depending on the number of people who visit that particular website.
Okay, okay. So you want a lot of, but then the step one is like get a lot of visitors, you know?
So proper keyword will work a lot for the people who actually want a good number of audience on their website. So if we have a good keywords that people are actually searching, so that will bring audience to our website.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. So you are saying that first is get audience. Once you get audience, then Google will look at कि अच्छा ये बहुत popular website है. Then they will start ranking you high on their thing. Okay, okay. Anyone else? Any other ideas? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
In the chat box, as said, Barun Datta, we can use SEM for the thing.
Yeah, we can use SEM. Okay, okay. But see, SEM and SEM is paid marketing. Okay.
Zishan raised his hand.
Sorry.
It was the same point. It was the SEM point, which I thought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So SEM doesn't work to a large extent. Okay, and I'll talk to you why. SEM is paid marketing. You know, like you're paying somebody some money and getting the traffic. Okay. But also the traffic thing that you said is, I mean, it helps to a little bit. It's not the main factor. Okay. But yeah, but also traffic, if you're getting through paid means, then it matters even less. Okay. So getting traffic and getting visibility is important, but through organic, natural means, and I'll talk to you a little bit later. But yeah, but getting paid traffic does not help much. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, Tanya and Nipun, on page, off page. Yeah, but you have to tell me like what is exactly is on page, off page. Like, you know, like Tanya, I saw current, for example, attaching the link of your explaining different language. Okay, okay. Yeah, anyone else who can explain to me in a very layman terms, you know, on page, off page optimization, I don't understand. So let's say if I have, or if Jishan has created his website, what do he needs to do to make sure that Google ranks his website in their search rankings high, and so that he starts getting users who are looking for similar products onto his website? What are the 5 things that he needs to do?
So using proper keywords.
Proper keywords, where, what?
The website itself.
On the website. Okay,
Website.
okay, okay. So where does he need to use, like, you know, like,
supposedly, if the headlines, the
headlines
header should be appropriate, that the people do search. So iska iOS list mein, first of all.
How does it help? Like, how does it help? Like, if you use.
So if I'm searching for supposedly curtains, like yellow curtains or whatsoever, and he has had mentioned the same in his website as a header, so he'll be in the list for sure.
Okay, okay, okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, yeah. Nipun, who you have.
Yes, sir. So I think that the heading and the description should have the proper keywords, first of all. So second of all, I think that it's really important to reach out to people. So as they know that our website is there and they reach out to our website. So like suppose we can do email marketing. So we can change the meta tags of the page also. And yeah, so Google will come to know
Yeah,
that the people are
yeah.
visiting.
Okay, okay. So what are meta tags, Nipun? Like,
Sir, basically I attended a workshop in that they told us that changing meta tags is really helpful. So it's basically
okay,
related to coding and HTML. So
okay.
there they told us to insert certain keywords by the use of meta tags so that our ranking comes nicely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what are meta tags like?
The meaning I'm not aware of it.
Okay, okay, no problem, no problem. We'll. Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, so what all of you are saying that using the right keywords on your website is important, but I'll tell you why it's important. Okay, and then what happens in the background. Okay, so let's say that you have created your website. Okay, wherever, howsoever, Shopify. First thing you have to do is that before you do anything, you have to inform Google that, look, I have come up with a website. Okay, come visit me. Okay, come, I mean, start showing my website in your search results. Okay, now how do you do that? Now the way this happens is that Google has a product called Google Search Console. Okay, now what is Search Console? Is Search Console is a way for website owners to talk to the Google search team. So for example, you have to inform the Google team that, look, I've got a website. Why don't you come and look at it? And why don't you put it in your database? Okay. Now, how do you do that? Is by going into and creating an account with the Google Search Console. That's step number one. Okay. And in the Google Search Console, you have to create an account and give them the website address. Okay. And then what happens is once you give Google website address, Google will come to your website. And then the step number one is that they'll come and crawl your website. Crawling means they will come and copy and read the pages of your website, take it back to their database and put it there. Okay, that's step number one. Okay, so that is the so first thing is you tell Google by creating an account in Search Console, they send their bots or spiders, which is like a software comes, reads your website, goes back and puts it in their database. Okay, that's step number one. Step number two is now Google, what Google does is that Google is actually crawling websites all over the world. Okay, like every website they crawl, they keep a copy of the website with their in their databases. Okay, and we know that there are billions, hundreds of billions, maybe trillions of websites. Okay, and actually millions of websites or web pages get created every day. That's the space actually this is moving, right? So what they do is they continuously go and this software which is going and putting it, getting it and putting it in. But to make sure that they are properly arranged, Google actually arranges different kinds of websites under different servers. Okay. So once they copy it, they try to understand that, Ocha, what is this website all about? Is it a news website? Is it a sports website? Is it a politics website? Is it an e-commerce website? Is it like what kind of e-commerce website? Is it a B2B, B2C, etc., etc.? Okay. Now that's where what you are saying that putting the right names on the pages helps, because then Google understand that, okay, this is about home decor, or this is about chandeliers, or this is about upholstery, or whatever. So what Google will do is that they will try to read the title of the page, to understand what this is all about, and put the page in the right place in their servers. Okay, so let's say that you have a section wherein you are selling luxury home decor. They're going to put it under other websites which are about luxury home decor. Let's assume that for a minute that you're also selling sports stuff. You are selling cricket bats, and so they will take those pages and put it up under other segment in their servers, which is about cricket bats. So that is the next step that Google does, is that the website that they picked up, they try to understand the website and put it under different servers and databases. Okay. The reason is that that's their way to arrange it. So when they have to retrieve it, okay, it becomes easier and less time consuming. Okay. Now this part is called indexing. Okay. So they are actually arranging, and on the top of each server, they put an index Index is like the book index, which tells them that what are the website, what are the pages on this server. Okay, so they create indexes or multiple index. So they may have say 100 servers. Each server will have an index. So they will say that this server is about sports. This server is about home decor. This server is about, or they'll say this server is about e-commerce websites. E-commerce website will have e-commerce on, electronics, e-commerce on home decor, e-commerce on sports. So ऐसे ऐसे करके they categorize and they have a list. That list is called index. Okay, so there's an index, and which says index will tell you that from page number this to this is sports website. Page number this to this is home decor website. Okay, but they will only be able to do it when they understand clearly what this website is all about. Okay, that's where tagging comes into the picture, that you have to name your website properly. So Google is able to put it under the various indexes. Okay, so that is step number 2 is done. Step number 3 happens when somebody goes and searches for a luxury home decor. Okay, then what Google does is that Google looks at which of their servers, which of the databases have websites on luxury home decor. They go there. Then they pick out all the websites which have all the pages of luxury home decor, and then they arrange them in an order. Okay, क्योंकि जो page हमें ये दिखता है, at a point in time you only see 10 listings, right? So they have to show 10 at a time. So, but there are say millions of pages which have luxury home decor on them. Okay, so first step is that using the index, they pull out that list. It can be million page, and Google also tells you what is that size like. Okay, and I'll show you in a minute. And then they arrange it. Now the way they arrange it is the Google algorithm. So Google uses a logic or an algorithm to arrange millions of pages in an order, so that every page gets a rank. You know, the rank number 1 page goes up right up front, number 2 next, number 3 next, number 4 next, etc., etc. Okay. Now, this algorithm that Google uses to rank pages is the critical part of the entire Google machinery. Okay, nobody actually 100% understands as to what exactly the value, and I'm pretty sure that even the Google engineers, I mean 99% of the Google employees also will not be able to understand, because one is that it's a little bit of secret. Okay, and number 2 is that it's become very complicated over a period of time. Okay, the reason it's secret is that if Google were to tell everyone that look, this is exactly how it's happening, people will try to manipulate it. Okay, in such a way that they are able to beat the competition and get up. Okay, unnaturally. Okay, they want people to start showing up because they have got great content and they are the best websites. Okay, so just to coming back to this algorithm, what algorithm does is that they try to figure out that, let's say if somebody is asking for luxury home decor, which of these websites is the best luxury home decor website. That's what they are trying to do. So they may have billion website or 1 lakh website. They'll say, of this 1 lakh website, which is the best, which is the number 1. Then they'll say, which is the number 2. Then they'll say, which is the number 3. So they use this algorithm to figure out number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So what are the, so but Google has right from the beginning has shared the broad principles based on which they are actually figuring it out. Okay, and the principle says that look, we are trying to figure out what's the best for the user. Okay, so what they will do is that to determine that which is the best, home decor website, they will look up the internet and they will try to figure out that when somebody else is being asked the same question, the best home decor website, which are the website that they are talking about. Okay, so they try to figure that if the same question was asked to say Times of India, what did Times of India respond? Okay, if the same question was asked to Hindu, what did they, if the same question was asked to somebody on YouTube, what did they say? Okay, so Google tracks all the websites and says that whenever luxury home decor was mentioned, which website was spoken about. Okay, now that is called referral. तो अगर फॉर एग्जांपल यहाँ पे 100 लोग हैं 125 now. Let's say, and we are saying like, if I have to figure out, one way to figure out is that who is the best Indian cricketer? Okay. Abhi tak, is it like Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, whatever it is. One way is that I ask all of you, and whosoever gets the most vote, I say, okay, this guy is the best Indian cricketer. Because I've done a survey of 125 people, and as per them, so Google does the same thing. Okay. They say that whenever somebody else is asked, luxury home decor, which is the website people have been referring and talking about. Okay. Now remember, Google has data about all the websites in the world. So they look up the database and see that whenever this is being asked, what the website they are referring to, and they calculate the number of referrals each website is getting. Okay. Our sports analogy, if the websites were like Sachin Tendulkar and Kapil Dev and Gavaskar and now they become all the websites, and all 125 of us, they become the voters, referees, and we vote. Okay. Or whichever website gets the most vote really gets on the top, become the number one. So they use a very similar logic. Okay. And they calculate the referrals, and whichever website is getting the most referral, they go at the top. Okay. Whichever gets the next referral goes to the next. Now, this referral system is also in a very technical scenario. That's also called backlinks or backlinking. Okay. Because why backlinking? Because in a very technical way, when you are referring somebody in a website, you generally provide a link to that particular website. Okay. So, for example, if Times of India is writing an article on the best luxury websites, luxury home decor website, they'll say, okay, we feel that this website is number one, and they will give the name or the link, okay, to referring to that particular website. So Google actually calculates the number of referrals each website gets, and that is the factor number one. Okay. So that is what somebody. But it's also quite easy to get. Let's say that. If you want to start this luxury home decor, one way to get a lot of referral is that there are 125 of us. You say that, look, here is, why don't you all create a small website and just write an article and say, we feel that, this luxury home decor is Fareed's website, whatever that name is. So overnight, you can get 125 people talking about you only. Okay. If you knew that, that's the only factor that matters. Okay. But that's what people started doing. Okay. So overnight, yesterday, koi pata nahi tha. Today, that guy website became a champion because 5,000 people started saying, oh, this guy is great. This guy is great. Okay. But Google knows that this doesn't happen, So this is something that they keep looking at it, and they keep sensing that, does it look natural or does it look fishy? Okay. If it looks fishy, then Google clamps down on that. Okay. They will catch you. So Google does the similar thing. Okay. Then they came up with saying that, look, it's not only the number of people referring. Let's say in our scenario, they'll say, okay, let's say, Sachin Tendulkar gets a maximum vote. Okay. So they will say, okay, it's not only the number of people, but the more qualified of us who are more qualified to judge should answer this question. But let's say that amongst us, there are cricket players. We have a team of 11 players whose whole life is dedicated to cricket. We'll say that, okay, there may be some of us who are not so related to cricket, we're not so knowledgeable. So why we should give same vote to everybody? Okay, there are certain experts in us who are more knowledgeable about cricket. Let's give them a higher veto. So we pull out, say, 20 people whose life is cricket, and we all value their opinion. We said, okay, let's give 5 votes to these 20 people, and rest of us will have 1 vote each. Okay. So Google also does the same thing. So if your website itself is a very reputed website, Google will give you more votes. But if you're a new website, let's say Fareed said, okay, now everyone, all of us, let's create a new website. Google will give each one of our new websites very little marks, weightage. Okay. So there can be a situation wherein one guy is getting 200 referrals, other guy just gets 1 referral, but from, say, Times of India. Okay. So in this case, the Times of India referral will win. Okay, because it's coming from a very credible source. Okay, so those are the kinds of things that Google looks at, that who is referring, from where it's being referred, etc. So as a website owner, if you want to get higher, first thing you should do is that get different publications or get important people to talk about you. Okay, so the best way is that you approach Times of India, you approach bloggers, who are established, and say that, why don't you write about my website? Okay, so that's the first thing. Now let's assume that there are two websites who are like equally good. Okay, like uh, then Google says that, okay, you are being equally referred, let me break the tie using some other means. Okay, so the next thing Google looks at is that once people get on the website, what is the user experience? Okay, so that is the number two. So if people get in the website, are they getting great experience? Okay, so let's say if I go to Fareed's website and there are 1,000 products displayed, okay, etc. Nice variety I get, price range I get, line description I get a lot of people's feedbacks, etc. But there is some other website, maybe equally referred, but that website only has 10 products. Okay, the products prices have never been updated in the last 5 years. There are no ratings on it. Okay, it is very slow. I mean, it takes me 2 minutes to load the page. Okay, or when I open the page on mobile device, is actually breaks. Okay, so the next thing that Google looks at is the user experience on the website. Okay, are people finding value? Are people engaging on your website or not? Okay, are they able to move from one page to the next page? Okay, is the content rich or not? Okay, they look at what they call as rich and fresh. Okay, so it should not be that the product that you're displaying today is the same that you displayed 2 years ago. 2 साल में कोई change ही नहीं हुआ website पे. So they look at all those things. So you need to keep updating the website, keep putting in fresh content, etc. Okay, so that's the number 2 set of factors. Okay, that comes under what we call as the user experience. Okay, speed of the website, richness of the content, user feedback, etc. Okay, the other set of factors is more technical in nature. Okay, so they will look at is the coding that's been done, is it proper or not? Do you have security enabled? Is this HTTPS website or not? Does it have malware of some kind on your website, or is it like free of malware, etc.? Okay, so is it coded using some good frameworks? Are there any coding errors, etc.? So that is the third part that they look at, is on the coding side of things. Okay, so if you really want to get people to rank high, those are the, I would say, buckets of things that you have to take care of. Okay, and that is what a SEO does, search engine optimizer does. Okay, once you do that, then your website will start appearing under the Google search results, and the more you keep focusing on these areas, the higher you will keep going. Okay, but how high you go also depends on your competition. If you are taking 2 steps forward but your competition is taking 5 steps forward, then you'll still struggle. Okay, because you're not fighting with Google, you're fighting with your other competitors. Okay, so essentially you have to do things in a way that you outshine your competition. Okay, only then you will rank higher. Okay, so that's where you will see that a lot of websites ranks change. The website that were appearing last year will go out because others have come up, or your competition has become so much better. So this is what SEO is all about. Okay, and there are multiple tools, okay, that you can use to check a website and see how good a website is in terms of SEO, what are the gaps, and how we can actually improve that. Okay, so any questions on this?
So what are the tools for the same that you're asking?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll show you a couple of tools,
So before we go there, I have a fundamental question, not as a businessman or not as a person who's looking to start a website, but with this kind of tracking of visitors and websites, isn't it somewhere on the borderline when it comes to right to privacy, especially when we see these kinds of hearing happening in America and in Europe, where it's a lot of tracking for visitors and the website as well. So what do you have to say about that, sir? Just from a Googler point of view, how do you think?
Yes, exactly. See, actually, as a marketer, see, the thing is that it depends on which hat you're wearing. Okay, if you wear a marketer's hat, if you wear a businessman's hat, okay, you want to track people. Why? Because you want to offer the right products to the right user. Okay, because carpet bombing is very expensive. So for example, let's say you are doing home decor. One way is that you go on television, you buy Times of India ads, but they are very expensive, right? And you tell everyone, but of the entire population, only 1% or 2% will be your target audience. Okay, but if there was a way in which you understood who that target audience is, you will only show your ads to 1 or 2%. You will reduce wastage. Okay, one. Number two is that when you track people to understand what their likes, dislikes, needs are, they also appreciate it. Okay, so rather than a user receiving all kinds of ads, they get ads which are relevant to them. Okay, so yeah, also on your website, let's say people come to your website. Your website may have 10 products. Your website may have like chandeliers or bathroom fittings. So if you are showing a chandelier ad to guy who needs bathroom fittings, they may not like it, they may not appreciate. You will not, it's like wasting. Okay, so as a marketer, you want to track so that your ads and campaigns become more effective. Okay, uh, as a user, to a certain extent, you also benefit because you are getting to see the relevant things that you want to see. So if I go to Google and search for, like whatever luxury home decor, I get ads for luxury home decor and not for, ticket to Vegas, okay, which I don't want to go. So I am getting right ads. Okay. Now problem happens when people cross the line. Okay, so crossing the line is where the problem happens. So, and when do we cross the line? That depends on society to society. Okay, we as a society are maybe conservative. Some other societies may not be conservative. They are maybe okay with certain things. Okay, that's one part. Second part is the law of the land. Okay, so government understands and make laws on what is okay and what is not okay, and those laws change country to country and state to state. Okay, and some of the laws are also under cyber laws. So cyber laws define to what extent can you track somebody, to what extent you don't want to track somebody. Okay, for example, Europe is doing much better in tracking. They have a very proper law, and they say that this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. If you are doing things you can't do, here is the penalty. Okay, and the penalty is pretty huge. Like they say, we'll take away 10% of your annual profits, or $10 million. Okay, is the penalty. So people are very careful, but in our country there aren't too many penalties, etc. So people are not that careful. Okay, yeah, so that is the thing on privacy. Still evolving. Like when I was at Google, like if people tried to fraud you online, it was not even recognized to be a crime. Okay, so if people stole your debit card or credit card, made a transaction, uh, in our laws we did not have a law to actually tag that as a crime, as an offense. Okay, if people stole your password, to your, or stole your password to your bank account, it was not a fraud in India, it was not a crime. Okay, I've seen those days also. So you go to the police and they'll say, but it's not a crime, there's no rule book that says that's a crime. Okay, but we have traveled far from there. Okay, it has become a crime. There are some cyber laws. So slowly and steadily, as people understand, there'll be laws to deal with it. Okay, so those are the two things. Like there's a law, and then there is a human behavior. Same thing with product also. Like in the US, a lot of places in Europe, selling cannabis, etc., is okay. You can go and sell like hashish and stuff like that in the US, right? In Europe. In some other countries, some other states, it's not okay. Medicines, like medicines are very, very strictly monitored, okay? Like in India, like we are casual about, going to any medicine store and asking for drugs and getting it. I mean, Western countries are very highly regulated. There are over the counter, there are prescription drugs, there are only those things you can sell, so yeah, so that is the thing about privacy. It's evolving and we will see where it goes. Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'll show you a couple of like tools that we can use to figure out how good is your website. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's
Yes,
say,
sir.
so I'll show you. Like, so the first thing that I would want all of us to know is that there is this site called moz.com. Okay, anyone has heard of moz.com? Okay, so moz.com. So what happened was that initially Google will share a lot of data about how is this website doing, etc. Then they stopped sharing. So what Moz and all did this, that they started picking up that data. Okay, so let's say that you have a website and you want to analyze that website and figure out how well it is doing on SEO parameters. You have to put in the website URL here and analyze. Okay, you want to analyze any website, like you give me a website and we can analyze.
D-Deco.
Sorry, which one?
D-Deco.
What is the spelling?
D, caps D, Decor. D-E-C-O-R.
DEDECOR
I'll write it in the chat box.
.com. Are you sure this is the name? DE?
Sir, he's writing in the chat box.
Okay. Okay, now I can't see the chatbot here on my screen.
So when you're sharing the screen, there's a little thing coming like under the screen. If you can see that, is there something that is visible to you?
Oh no.
Okay.
So,
I'll read it out to you.
So you could try another site. It's by the name HelloTend. HELLOTEND.
HELLO
TEND.
TEND.
Yes, HelloTend.
HELLOTEND.
Yes, that's
It's
it.
a known website, new website.
It's a known website, deals in hospitality sector.
Okay, let us just check out. Okay. Oh man, I mean, love to do all this. Please click it containing a bicycle. Okay, this one. ये भी है क्या? Okay. So they get to us to do all these things. Okay, yeah. So here it is. Okay. So you see these numbers.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what. So see, remember we spoke about referring websites. Okay. So this website Hello Trend has 165 other websites which are referring to this website. Okay. And root domain means website, individual websites. Okay. Not pages on that website. Okay. Individual website. Okay. 165. He's saying that if this website is ranking on 411 different words. Okay, it can be like chandeliers, it can be etc. etc. Spam score means that Moz feels that it's only 1% spam, means that looks like a good website. Okay, the spam score is between 1% to 100%. Okay, 40% and above are a little suspicious. Now, what is a spam is that you try to do these activities, like you ask your friends to refer to you, you create 100 websites on your own, and you refer your website through those 100 websites. Those are called spammy. Okay. Or you get traffic from websites which are not good websites. Okay. Like you leave your website link at multi, you will see that, like you go to YouTube, nice video, under if you read comments, there will be random comments, like, or you go to Facebook groups, the random people will leave their links there. Okay. They'll ask you to visit their website by clicking on. Okay. If your website is getting visits from those kinds of activities, okay, your website is marked as spammy website. Okay. It says that you are getting links from shady places. Okay. But this website is not getting. Okay. So it's only 1%. Okay. Domain authority. Okay. Now this is the number. Domain authority is again out of 100. Okay. This tells you what is the likelihood of this website ranking high on Google search results. So if you look at a very most popular websites like our Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, they'll all be 90s. Okay. So under the topic that they deal with, those websites are more likely to rank higher than a website which has low domain authority. Okay. Or let's say on the, if you Hello Trend and they have their competitor, if both of them are competing, the website with a higher domain authority score will rank higher, okay, than a website with a lower domain authority. Okay. And this number keeps changing, like for Hello Trend, if you actually check back after 1 month, it will either go up, come down, remain same, whatever, but it changes. Okay. Earlier, they would change just once a quarter. Okay. But now they change about once a month. Okay.
So would you like me to tell a competitor of the same? It's in the dentistry sector too.
Yeah, we can do that later. Maybe you can do it on your own. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, but let's see what are the other data that's saying. Okay. Top pages by links. Okay. So a lot of people who are referring, they are referring to Hello Trend homepage. Okay. Some people are also referring to the insurance page and service page and notice page, whatever is flat iron page. Okay. Careers page. Okay. So, okay. And these are the websites that are referring them a lot. Okay. You can see medium.com is a blogging platform, it's very popular, a blogging platform. All of us can go and create our profiles, blogging profiles on Medium. Crunchbase, all of us know, right? Crunchbase, angel.co. What is Crunchbase?
So Crunchbase provides information about private companies.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. It's a listing of, companies. So there's angel.co, listing of startups. Substack is again a kind of a coding site. Zoom Info, Finance SME. Okay. So finsmes.com is also referring to them. Okay. Similarly, there are multiple websites. Now, these are the high authority websites which are referring to this website. Okay. The more referrals you get from high authority websites, the higher your number is going to be. Okay. So if you want to increase your domain authority number, get this referral from higher than yours websites. Okay. So that is what you need to do. And you need to keep checking. Okay. You can come to moz.com and keep checking. This also tells you that, what are the keywords on which this website is getting clicks. Okay. They're saying Tend Dental, Dentist New York City, Dentist Wall Street, etc. Okay. Top ranking keywords, Tend Dental. It seems like a dental website, is it? Like, okay. Anyways. So yeah, so that is what. So you can do for any website, you can actually look up and check out all these things. Okay. You can see that there are about 29 keywords on which this website is ranking between 1 to 3. Okay. There are 41 keywords on which they are ranking between 4 to 10. So similarly, you can actually check out. So the higher you are ranking, the better it is, right? So the higher this bar is, the better it is. But generally, this chart will move like this. Like the lower one, there'll be a lot of keywords, which are also called long tail keywords. A lot of keywords on which you are going to rank low, And there are a few keywords which we call as core keywords, keywords which are core to your business, on which you should be ranking higher. Okay. Now here are their here are their competitors. Okay. And here is their domain authority. See, they have put LinkedIn also as their competitor, Yelp, LinkedIn, Zocdot, and you can look at their domain authorities. Okay. So if this website got links from these websites, it will definitely go up. Or even OpenCare, which has got a better, domain authority. Okay. Top questions. So what are the top questions people are asking? So why they have given this is so that you can actually create content on the website. You can write answers to these questions on your website. So people will come to the website and find the answers. Okay. So Moz is a very good tool to do this, to analyze a domain. There are many other tools. Okay. You can also check certain Alexa rank. Okay. Like how is this website ranking? Okay. Like traffic, how is the traffic going? Okay. Because like we said, traffic, you should also be getting good traffic on your website. Now, Alexa, okay. Alexa.com. So you can actually go to Alexa and site info. Okay. And here you can actually put the same website, and this will tell you how your website is doing in terms of getting more traffic. So you go to Hello Trend and you say run analysis. So this will tell you how the traffic is going on this website. Here you go. Okay. Here is the Alexa rank. You can see over a period of time. Okay. So you can see that their ranks have been falling. Okay. Over a period of time. Okay. So either they are not doing much or their competition is really started to do a lot more in terms of SEO. So they are losing their rank. Potentially they are losing traffic. Okay. There may be a little uptick here, but you see they have actually fallen quite a lot. Okay. Then, they can also see, so this is the global rank. Okay. So globally, they are ranking 234,000. Their rank is 234,000. Okay. Among the US website, there are 56,000. Okay. Now they also give you the site metrics, like engagement is 2.5, daily page views per visitor. So people who come to the website, they visit 2.5 pages. Okay. Daily time on site, the average time on site when somebody comes to their website, they spend 2 minutes, 1 second. Okay. Bounce rate is that how many people who come to the website go to the other website without doing anything on the website, like bouncing. They come and then they exit at the same time. Okay. Which is 50%, 49%. Okay. So this gives you a good understanding of how does this website is doing. So when you are starting up, you should look at this metric for your competitors. Okay. So it gives you a good data. If you are an established website, you should look it for your own website, because this will give you your areas to improve. Okay. So for this website, traffic is falling. And the reason it's falling is, look at these. All the metrics are moving in the wrong direction. Okay. So they really, really need to work hard to get it up and work hard on the area that we spoke about. They need to look at the content which is there on the website. They need to get a lot more referral from other places. They need to make their websites a lot more robust. Okay. In that, last thing I will tell in SEO is that, this meta tags. What is meta tag? Meta tag is, they are the lines of code which is not available to a user. Okay. That a user cannot see, but can be seen by the crawlers. Now, what are those things? Okay. So let's say even Alexa.com will put certain lines of text which is meant only for Google and the bot to understand what this page is all about. It's not for the visitor, okay? And if you want to check that out, you have to right click, okay? Then you have to go to this view page source. You can do it for any website in the world. Right click, go to page source. Then the code of this page will open up, okay? And yahan pe, you can see that they will tell you the meta, okay? Can you see meta? Okay, it's very small, but there is always, you can actually search for meta. So there'll be meta title, meta description, etc., which is nothing but telling Google what this page is all about. Okay, so you can also search Control F and say, yeah, meta, you know. So this is meta name. Okay, here. So meta description. So the meta description here is that this page is what marketing strategies does Hello Trend use? Get traffic statistics, SEO keyword opportunities, audience insights, and competitive analysis for Hello Trend. Okay. So what this Alexa is saying, that this website that we created is about these things, you know, marketing strategies, traffic statistics, SEO keywords. Okay. Now this is called a meta. Okay. So you have to actually put these data inside your page code for Google to understand what this is all about and put it in the right index. Okay. So that is what a meta is, and that is what this is all about. Okay. So the other final thing you can do is that you can do Hello Trend, and you can actually do a search. Okay. And you can see how the website is coming up. So when I did the Hello Trend, 2980 results came in. Okay. Which means that Google's index, Google's database has 2,980 mentions of this word Hello Trend. Okay. And you can see what those things are. They can be LinkedIn, Yahoo. So again, like the more mentions you have, the better it is. Okay. If I had to do, say, Amity Business School, see how many is this? Like these are crores. Okay. So you can see the difference. Okay. So yeah, but you know, so Amity Business School is mentioned at so many places, etc. So Google looks at these things. Okay. Google will feel that, look, if Amity Business School is mentioned by so many places, then this must be a good business school or good website for business schools. Okay. So this is another signal that Google looks at to rank various websites. Okay. Okay, cool. So we have, I think, 7 odd minutes. What are the final questions that people have that I can answer for you?
Participants present over, please do text in the chat box itself if you have any questions.
Yeah. See, the other thing is about advertising. The only thing I'll say is that ads, you know, you can run ads like, say, top business schools. Okay. Now, ads and organic, they are not related to each other. Okay. So yahan pe though there are no ads, nobody is advertising. But let's say I will say laptops. Okay, there are these ads. You know, there are so many ads which are coming here. Okay, these are called shopping ads at the top. There are the text ads at here. Now, ads will give you instant results. Okay, you can create your ads and you can start getting traffic from day one. But obviously, these are expensive. Like you have to pay Google money, create these ads, and then every time somebody clicks on these ads, you have to pay someone some money. In this case, pay Google money, right? So yeah, so they get to be expensive, but you start getting traffic. On SEO, for Google to start ranking you above your competition is going to take some time. Okay, sometimes it's 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. If the competition is really heavy, it may take even longer than that. Okay, for you to get a meaningful traffic from Google search.
Amitabh sir, Sir, there's a question from Mr. Farid, which even I would like to ask. What are your views upon influencer marketing?
Yes. Okay, so let me stop sharing this so I can, yeah.
Yes.
Great. Yes. See, influencer marketing actually, what is influencer marketing is that you talk to influencers who actually go and talk about your product and service and share the experience. Okay. So there are certain good things about influencer marketing. One is that over a period of time, people have started to detest, not like advertising. Nobody likes to be bombarded with ads. And also, we don't trust what is spoken in the ads. Okay. Because all the ads will only speak about good things. Okay. But we know that we always take it with a pinch of salt. Okay. Uh, but when there's an influencer, okay, there are different types of influencer who uses the product and gives a feedback about the product, then chances are that more people will believe that message. Okay. So 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 in those situations influencers work. Okay, they drive adoption. Okay, because they have a community of followers who trust this influencer. Okay, but also there are influencers like Virat Kohli and Deepika Padukone. People know that they have not tried that product, so it's more like an advertising. So those kinds of influencers will give you a lot of awareness, but it will not give you usage or sales of the products. Okay, if you go to the smaller influencer who have a dedicated community, they may also be able to drive sale for your products. Okay, apart from giving awareness. Okay, but the reach is limited. Okay, so if used properly, influencer marketing can yield results, but there needs to be good strategy behind what you're doing and why you're doing, etc. Yeah, so I think Gunjan had the question: how to know that in which sector one should start with? Yeah, see, I mean, a lot of it is like our gut feel. How do you know you want to get into business? How do you know you want to join a company? So, see, what I would say is that get into an area which you know and understand very well. Okay, because see, end of the day, you have to compete with other players in the market. Okay, so whichever area that you're getting into, if you have some background on it, okay, let's say that I had a family business of home decor. I know from where to source my products from. I know the suppliers, I know the market dynamics, I understand the user behavior. Okay, those are the area that you should pick up. Okay, if you go to a new area in which you don't have real advantage, you will struggle a little bit. Okay, so first understand what is that area in which you have a little bit of better understanding than the normal person on the street. It can be your upbringing, your family, what you have studied, read, experience, whatever it is. Okay, but every business is a good business. Okay, uh, uh, you can succeed in anything that you want to succeed, provided you do better than the competition, you have a new offering to give. But I think it should be based on your strengths. Okay, because there is opportunity everywhere. Okay, so don't chase opportunity, chase what your strength is, understand that, and then figure out what you want to go. Okay, any final things?
Yes, I have one last question. It's of a personal nature, sir. The question is, sir, what made you step into the marketing field? What made you realize that you want to be a marketer? Because I personally, I want to understand, sir, that what kind of qualities should one look into himself? I mean, look for when he's looking to make the future decisions. So, what made
Yeah,
you think that this is your thing, sir?
exactly. See, marketing, sales, marketing, business, like they are very vast area, and people go there for different reasons. Okay, the reason I got into it is two or three things. Okay, So I'm basically, as a background, I am not an engineer. Okay, so typically engineers and non-engineers, right? So, so so I'm non-technical. Today's development, today's world, startup world, you are a developer, people who can write code, and then people who don't write code, who develop the business. If you look at a typical company, we'll have those two types of people, okay, who are producing the product, and then other set of people who are doing marketing sales. So I went to the marketing sales area. One was that I was not fit for the other side, but more importantly that this area is a nice uh, mix of multiple skill sets, okay, like a cross functional. So you need to be a decent communicator. You need to understand data well. You need to understand technology well. You need to have the ability to go out and sell and understand user behavior. So marketing is really at the cusp of everything. You need to understand data, like we spoke about privacy. You need to, put things out creatively. You need to understand user behavior. Now, and today's world is also a lot tech driven. So you need to understand technology, so those were the reasons I went into this direction, because this is, I think, at the forefront of the business. Okay, because आप किसी भी area में जाओ, किसी भी company में जाओ, they will need marketers to market and sell their products. It's like an evergreen field. Okay, so there's never a downturn in marketing. There'll be a downturn in one kind of an industry, etc. But marketers are always needed. If people are not buying, you need more marketing to sell, and maybe more creative marketing. And marketing is not always about spending money. Nowadays with technology, you can get a lot of traffic, do sales without spending money. Okay, yeah. So
Yes.
there is one more thing that we also have a lot of tools, that you can actually go and check out. Like there are a lot of free tools on our website. So that is one of the other reasons that we went there, because we can create a lot of stuff for the community. Okay. So if you want, there are tools on seotools.ampdigital.co. So they are like all these Alexa, Moz, all of it is here. They're all free. You can actually go and check out and see if there are any value to you. Okay, so that's it.
So I had a very important question.
Yeah.
I just saw the website that you scrolled down. Like a lot of websites have this plagiarism check thing.
Yeah.
Like how can we differentiate like exactly what exactly is the like amount of a percentage of plagiarism one has? Because
Yeah.
at times what happens is we write things on our own, but still the website show that it's having plag, which is very weird for us to know that
Yeah.
this is written by us only and they are saying that it's plagiarized. So
Yeah, exactly. So see, so there are two things, okay? Like one is that there is something to do with copyrights, okay? There are certain technical things which says that, if you're publishing something and as your own, then you shouldn't violate a copyright. Okay, that's a technical thing for which you need to run your content through these tools. Okay, you can go to seotools.ampdigital.co and there are tools. That is one. Second is that now how to escape that. Okay, now the thing is that if you start with what is your viewpoint on this, okay, what are you thinking about this, okay, the chances are that you will come up with things which are unique to you. Okay, it will, so you will explain the same thing. It's like privacy. If somebody asks you, what is your take on privacy? Now the privacy is the same thing, they are same the laws, but you and your interaction and your exposure to privacy will be very unique to you. If you come out with those, and if you say talk about your experiences and come up with it, then you will be able to produce unique content. Okay, I would say that typically we should not bother too much about the plagiarism thing. We should just write it the way we want to write it, and then finally check it so that we are not violating anything, and
yes,
then we
sir.
should be good to go.
Yes, sir. Also, sir, like now that we know that digital marketing is something that everybody needs to learn some or the other way, like even if you
Yeah,
do not have a proper knowledge about it, but you should have a basic knowledge about it, so that if you
yeah,
want to take a lead in the market, or get into the market, you should have a base in the digital marketing as well.
yeah.
A lot of people are working on the, as mentioned by Zishan also, he had questioned also, for the influencer marketing part. But now when I see, like, the best thing that everyone is doing on YouTube these days, all the bloggers, or every video there is something or the other they are promoting. So there's one brand called Mamaearth, if anyone would have heard about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So they have worked on this like tremendously. If you go, like, even the bloggers from different countries are also promoting Mamaearth, which is very strange. Like they have this thing in them. I don't know why, but they have worked more on influencer marketing than any other marketing, because they thought this is the best market they can go into, and
Sure.
people actually bought this product because of this thing only. So I guess people, like all the participants here and the people who came here to learn something, they can have a little points on influencer marketing as well. We can
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, like this is also a new and evolving area. It doesn't work for everyone. Also, you need to have a good strategy in place. You should understand why you are going. Okay. Mamaearth, it works because typically, if you are a young mom, like, you are more likely to listen to other young moms and their experiences, right? You're more likely to be influenced by them. Uh, yeah, but scaling those things also is a challenge. Like, so it depends on how big your brand is, what are you likely to drive, and then come up with a strategy and then implement and then measure, etc. So yeah, it has worked for a lot of people. It has also not worked for many other people. Okay. So yeah, so you'll have to figure it out, but it's an exciting new area of influencer marketing that we should be uh, knowing and understanding. Okay.
Yes, sir. Anyone else has any question?
Yeah, any final questions?
According to you, which is better, SEM or SEO?
Yeah. No. See, it's not about which is better. It's about when to use which one. Okay. See, SEO will give you free traffic. Who doesn't want free things? Okay. But it's not going to happen immediately. If Jishan starts a store, he is not going to get for the next 6 months anything. So one is that you just open it and just wait कि लोग आएंगे, वो नहीं होने वाला. Okay. So in the short run, there's no other way but except to run ads and get people in, because you have got business to run, right? Like, but in a stable state, if you are actually running it like 5 years, 6 years, 10 years down the line, then you can optimize. You can say that, look, my SEO organic is giving me 60-70% of my business traffic. But you still need, because things change, like you may have a promotion offer going on, you may have a holy offer coming up, right? And you want to promote that. So promoting through SEO will not be possible because Google need to index, etc. It's a long process. So you want to run ads. So typically what people do is that for any promotions, any offers, any topical thing, they would run an ad. Okay. And they would expect that for the rest of the things, it actually comes through the normal channel. Okay, so everyone has a role. Influencer marketing has a role. Content development has a role. Social media has a role. So as a marketer, as a seasoned marketer, you need to come up with an integrated view on what are the channels, what are the levers you have, and what are the things that each one of them is going to contribute to you. Okay, social media is nothing is bad, nothing is I mean, you cannot rely on just one thing for everything. Okay, you need to have a mix of strategy. Okay, there should be something coming from social media, something coming from organic means, something coming from ads. You need to have an analytics to figure out which one is performing better, how to allocate your budgets. Okay, so everything, it's like a village that needs to come together to make it work for you. It's not just one thing, it's an integrated approach that anyone needs to have to make it successful.
True, sir. Uh, okay, so we have another question. Uh,
From so it's from Gunjan Tiwari. Can you just brief about YouTube survey? What YouTube wants to do with it?
Yeah, so see, YouTube conducts a survey. I don't know which survey you're talking about. So, what happens is that, remember, YouTube in terms of advertising is competing against television ads. Okay, they are similar mediums. Now, when Cokes and Pepsis of the world put their ads in television, to figure out how effective was their advertising, they conduct a survey. Okay, they hire an agency that goes door to door, or they will have their own means, and they try to figure out that when the ads were run, what is the impact on, say, brand recall, aided recall. They have certain ways, and that is something they use to figure out whether the ads are working or not, which ads are working, which channel is working, which show is working. So that is what. Now, similar thing. So similar question is that when marketers come to YouTube, YouTube also needs to give them that data. That look, you ran you spent 5 crores on YouTube ads. Did your ad work or not? Okay. In the case of what we call as performance marketing, wherein you are looking to sell, when people click on the ad, go to the website and buy, it's very clear. You understand how much is sold online, so you can see whether the ad is working. But where you are looking to increase awareness, brand recall, okay, where the buy is not happening online, in those cases you need to run these surveys to figure out, how well your ads perform. So YouTube has this. If you spend certain amount of money, like say 5 crores, then YouTube will give you this functionality wherein you can run a survey to figure out how effective was those ads, in whatever objectives that you're trying to solve.
I guess let's just wrap the question session now. If we have more questions, we'll send it to the sir, and
Yeah.
sir will try to answer all the questions. Now I would request Harshit to take over.
Yes, Nitika. Thank you so much, sir, for this insightful and knowledgeable workshop on digital marketing. I'd be pointing out the key takeaways for the event now. Sir not only told us how to begin a digital e-commerce store on Shopify, he also told us how to get our rankings of the website from. He told us we discussed about apps and websites. He told us about the platform we should use. How do we get the consumers to the websites? We got to know. Just a second, please. Yes. We got to know about how to do rankings, how to do key AdWords on Google. And at the later stage, he told us how to use applications such as certain tools like Moz and Alexa, how we use them and how to analyze our competitors and even ourselves for the same.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for this event, and I hope we will all cherish this from this knowledgeable thing. If there are any questions, please do ask.
Okay, thank you guys. Thanks a lot. I really enjoyed talking to you. If you have more questions, you can write to me, amitabh@adsforgrowth.com.
Sir.
Or you can come to our website, amdigital.co, and you can send me questions from there.
So we'd love to connect you on Instagram as well if you do.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram as also Amitabh26, AMITABH26. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Before closing the session, I would just like to extend a vote of thanks. So a very good evening to everyone present here. I, Prabneet Kohli, on behalf of ESL Impresario, I'm here to extend a vote of thanks to everyone for gracing this event with their benign presence. With great sense of admiration, I would like to begin by thanking our esteemed guest for the day, Mr. Amitabh Verma, sir, for such an enlightening session. I would also like to thank our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, sir, Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhan, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, ma'am, our respected Director, Professor Dr. J.K. Sharma, sir, and our faculty coordinators, Dr. Nidhi Gupta and Dr. Jayashree Sapra, for creating such great learning opportunities for the students and also for their constant support and guidance. Without them, this event would not have been possible. Your gracious presence and delightful thoughts have surely brightened our day. Further, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all the participants for their active participation and the members who have worked towards creating this extremely knowledgeable and memorable event. I hope we all cherish this wonderful experience for years to come. Once again, a great thank you to Sir for accepting our invitation.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Joining us today.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming and giving this wonderful workshop to us. It means a lot, even though we contacted each other like only through the mails and it, but even though it was a short notice one. Thank you so much for coming here and giving such a amazing session to us. And we would genuinely like to have more sessions with you in future as well.